before we get into this week's episodes, I do want to talk about this box because I want to give this box to you. One lucky subscriber is going to win everything that is inside this box and more. But before we can do that, we have to hit 500 subscribers. So if you're watching this and are not subscribed, hit that button right now to find out what's inside the box. Okay, let's get on with the show. So I just got back filming with Wojtek, the final episode of this first season, and I thought it's a good opportunity to show you what's in my bag. What do I take on the road to film a whole interview studio tour more or less by myself? So first of all, I have this f-stopper trolley. Lots of little pockets on the outside, but one, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Actually, one of the cool things about this is that there's a case within a case. So this is all the gear. Now this is empty, and I just have the camera gear right here. So what's the main camera, right? This little guy. A C200 with the 50mm on for the most part. I basically have two lenses. That's pretty much all I'm rocking. And the 50 is great because that's the main camera I have on my guest when we do the sit down thing, because it is just rock solid reliable. I don't have to worry about it cutting out because of power or media or runtime or anything like that. I can push record and I'm pretty sure this is gonna record. The only thing with these kind of cameras, there is a little bit of build required with the monitor handle. So this thing pretty much just lives on a tripod and is good to go because it has two card slots, so it rolls over if one is full, or I can do a backup recording so it's mirrored on both cameras. Super big battery that just goes on for the whole day. Decent autofocus, obviously not as crazy good as some of the newer cameras, but this still works really well. Shoots 4K, so I can punch in. And the main thing is just, I can trust it. I've been filming with this camera for 3, 4, 5 years maybe, and never have I ever experienced anything wrong with it. This camera has never disappointed me, and so that's my go-to. For the interviews, obviously, it's just the main camera on the guest, so I know I have the answers definitely captured. And for the studio tours, it's usually on a tripod that captures the wide, again, just so I have something to cut to that's always recording, and it also usually is recording the audio, which we'll get to in a second. Main camera, C200. I got something special for this time. And then the secondary camera is the Canon EOS R. Canon's first real entry into the mirrorless game. I'm a little bit of a Canon fanboy. I mean, I also used to work with them in some capacity, and so it's kind of my go-to. It's what I like to use. And sure, this camera has a couple of shortcomings, but so far it's fine. And unless there is a flood of money coming in, I'm not going to upgrade anytime soon. On there we have the classic 24 to 105 f4, pretty standard zoom. So this is basically what I'm holding anytime I'm doing the studio tour. It's pretty stable here, and as long as I'm on the wide, that usually captures stuff. Sometimes I punch in if I need to get a close-up or something, or if I feel like I want to see the person's face more or something like that, I can punch in. During the walk-around studio tours, I try to keep it as wide and as steady as possible. I don't know what else to say about this. That is the main shooting combo. And then usually what I do, especially for the sit-down interviews for the wide, use my guest's camera, right? Whatever they're using. Yeah, that's usually then the wide to kind of cut back to. So on interviews, this is on me. On the studio tours, that's what I'm holding. And then the wide for the interviews is usually the guest's camera, whatever they're using, just to capture that wide frame. And then on this particular shoot, we were filming in a van, so I knew I needed something small that can fit into tight spaces, that I can slap a wide on just to cover my bases, right? And that's why I got this guy. This is one of my old Sony a6300 with a 16mm on, and this I can combine with little magic arm that I can, I don't know, tie on anywhere, put the camera on, and then I have a super wide. This basically acted as a high up wide angle to just film us as we're moving around the space, because there was no space to put another camera on a stand or anything like that. So super useful. And these things, these are specifically Domke camera wraps. I love them. This one, I mean, looks a little bit gnarly already because I've had that for a couple of years, but whenever you just like want to take a camera or an audio recorder or anything like that and just chuck it in a bag, it feels a lot safer than just throwing this in the camera in the bag by itself. So I have a few of those, super useful, like them a lot. And then let's get to the audio, because brand new, kind of got them just for the shoot, are the Rode Wireless Pro. A set of a receiver and 2 transmitters, 32-bit float audio recording, decent range, all in one package. Pretty much you pull it out and they're ready to go. I do use the lavaliers that came with it because I just don't like the look of this. Especially this is so shiny, but calling this thing Pro rubs me the wrong way. Like, I'm using a Sennheiser AVX system right now. This I can confidently call Pro. Again, it's about reliability. This, on the other hand, it works fine. If you want this to feel Pro, there's some improvements to be made. That's my main audio solution. Other than that, we have chargers in here for all the cameras, LPE6, the big Canon ones, and then the Sony ones. We have an extra light, Falcon Eyes F7, super handy. The light, again, we were filming in the van. I just wanted something small that I can plop into corners. And then the last thing that was missing are the memory cards. I got this super nice card holder case from Angelbird. Honestly, Angelbird has been such a great partner for this first season, so this is a freaking tank, and I know if I put cards in here, nothing's gonna happen to them. That's a snap. And likewise, of course, I'm using my Angelbird Peak Design tech pouch with all the little things, batteries and more batteries, charging bricks, and SD card reader. I could pack this all in here, but it would get kind of loose, and I don't know. This way I know I can open it, Canon, Sony, chuck, ready to go. That's how I like to roll. Okay, that is pretty much what's in my camera bag. Wait, one more thing that's in here. Earlier I said there's something in here, right? A screwdriver, flathead, small. I like to have this around to tighten plates and all kinds of stuff that you might need. Also this one I can flip to a Phillips head if I need to. And this thing I got a couple of years ago as a gift, the camera survival kit. It is a flathead, it's a bottle opener, and it has some spare screws on it that I've never actually had to use. But yeah, you've definitely been in situations where I've forgotten these, and that's kind of a pain in the ass. And lastly, if you're still watching, to wrap things out, here are the stands I'm using, because I've discovered this monopod last year, Sure PSR. It has a ball head on it right now, but I usually switch it out to a video head. I freaking love this thing. And with one twist, I can get it up, put the camera on here, and it's rock solid. And for the big camera, we have a Manfrotto carbon fiber tripod. Don't ask me for the name, MV blah, 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 blah. I'll put it in the description. All right, this was a little bit different. Obviously not looking at somebody else's studio, but just like looking at the gear. I think we all enjoy looking at gear to some extent. It's always fun to see what other people are using. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want to see more of that. And with that out of the way, it's time to create. Kapow!